Hey everybody, my name is Brittany Jones-Cooper, and today we're going to discuss Black is King, Beyonce's new film and visual album that I am still unpacking. So I'm glad that I have my friends here today to discuss it with me. I'm going to be joined by Kayla Gardner, Adrienne Broom, Laura Esther, and Stacey Shannon from our BOLD ERG here at Verizon. Hi, ladies.
Hey.
Hey, Brittany.
Ladies, okay, I watched it last night. I have so many thoughts and feelings. I was literally dreaming about Beyonce. So I want to go to each of you, and I just want your first sort of gut reactions after watching it. Kayla, we'll start with you.
Girl, listen. Gut reactions, phenomenal. Imagery, symbolism, boss, like Africa, home. Like, I'm speechless. I literally was speechless. I watched it twice. And I was speechless after the first time. I was like, I have to take a break and just like understand what I just took in, because it was so good and there was so much of it. Like, I know I'm going to have to watch it probably 3 to 4 times to really get, right, like what she was doing in every single scene and all of the costumes and the symbolism with the hair. Like, it was everything.
Yes, I'm with you. I have to watch it again because I wrote down stuff and I was Googling like symbols and meanings, and it was like an education. Adrienne, how about you?
Yeah, I have to agree with everything both of y'all said, but then also in the same aspect, I was thinking like Beyonce reads books. So either she reads books or she hires people to read lots of books, because she schooled us, educated us. I mean, it was amazing, and it just like made me think like, gosh, I gotta read more. So yes, I loved it, every second of it. And I watched it twice all the way through, and then, I just kept on jamming to different songs throughout the day. Yeah.
How about you, Stacey?
For me, it was amazing. I was just like, so much history and so much about our African heritage went into that. And to Adrienne's point, Beyonce reads a lot. She researches a lot, and she has so many people in there that represented Nigeria, Ghana, just so many different countries in Africa, and it was amazing. So for me, I was like, look, Beyonce is creating her story again. These are things that we've seen her do with Lemonade, with the Homecoming show, for Coachella, aka Beachella. And so I just thought she did an amazing job, and the visuals were on point, and I absolutely loved it. I probably watched it 4 times. I'm going to watch it another 10 times.
Okay.
Before it really, but I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
And Mara, I see you nodding your head too.
I would echo the sentiments of everything that has been said thus far. Like, when I watched it, and I've watched it twice as well, I pretty much passed out on every scene. I was like, again, like, I can't take it. The wardrobes, the colors, the diversity of Black people, because we come in so many different hues and colors and sizes and shapes. And it was just beautiful. Like, I was blown away. And then again, with the symbolism and just the research that Beyonce has done and so much effort that was put into this. And I'm a huge Lion King fan. So even throughout when I was watching, I found myself kind of like talking along with the characters because I knew the words. And I love how she was able to connect those stories in a new, modern, unique way that tells a story about where we come from and our history and Black heritage, and how it promotes our and just self-love for one another. So I loved it. I was blown away. Amazing.
And obviously she released this album already, but how much more did the visual aspect kind of get you even more into the songs? Because I know for me, there were some songs that I had forgotten about, and now I've been playing them because I've now seen the visuals. Anybody want to take that one? I'll leave it out there.
I'm a visual person. So I love to see the visuals. I'm over here trying to learn the dances to, my power and everything. I'm a visual person. So for me, it was amazing. And I know there's so many other people like me that need to see the visuals sometimes. And it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say,
for brown skin girls. Oh, go ahead, Adrienne.
I was going to say, now don't take my Beyonce fan card away, but I will say I do think that I kind of slept on a lot of these songs. When it first
Mm-hmm.
came out, you know, you had the movie, and then it was kind of like quietly the album came out. You know, Spirit was a big song. And I would say I didn't really get into the rest of the album, but with these visuals that we have now, it's just taking it to a whole nother level for me, and just tying it in, because I think I may be the only one that has kids on here. So some of these songs really resonated for me as a mother even more with seeing those visuals. It just took it to another level, and now I can't stop listening to it.
And you know, we talked about this in a group chat too. Like, I was definitely sleeping on the album as well, but I've been listening to it all day. When Brown Skin Girl came on in the film and I saw Lupita, I like screamed. I was like, yes. So yeah, the visuals were everything. I really want to shop in her closet. Like, I need all of them. I need them.
With Brown Skin Girls, that Kelly Rowland moment, I think I replayed like 3 times. I've just always been a Kelly stan. So I just love seeing that friendship and that sisterhood still throughout everything. No matter what people try to say, like, they always are there for each other. I love that energy so much. So let's talk about some of the themes, because the big theme is about finding your way back and leaning on our ancestors, and that our history is our future. So Kayla, what does that messaging and that theme mean to you, and what did you take away from it?
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely the long-standing theme in the entire, like, you never lost sight of that, no matter what was going on, or, you know, little things that were popping up. My eyes are watering because of eyeliner. I am emotional about Beyonce because I am so inspired by her, but this is eyeliner. So I think for African Americans, right, Black people, we're looking for some of that always. You know, we're always looking to wear our African clothing that we feel like speaks to us, right? Not really knowing if that's really our heritage, not really knowing if that's really our people. I mean, we can take, you know, certain tests or things like that and regionally kind of understand, oh, okay, well, this is kind of the area that I may be from, but not like down to the village or the people, and sometimes, you know, just the region. So it's just not the same. And so for me, when I see that, it's like she gives us permission to just take all of it, you know, just take all of it, be inspired by all of it. It's art, it's beauty, it's true, like, roots. Like, I feel rooted when I watch things like this. And so for me, it meant everything, like, just watching that thread throughout the entire thing. We all knew what was going to happen, right? Technically, we all knew what was going to happen, but it was like, how are we going to get there from what she was showing us? And that was just that interpretation, that art. It was amazing. It was amazing to see, you know, technically he wasn't called Simba in the in the film, but, you know, little Simba was like going through it out here, just distracted and stuff, but he, you know, it was beautiful for me to see him return to his roots, right? It made me feel like, yes, I've been in places where I've lost my way, so I understand like what that feels like, what that looks like. There was just so many things that you can relate to, whether or not you were, you know, from the Black diaspora or not. Like, I just thought it was beautiful in that way.
Yeah. Stacey, how about you? Did that theme really impact you, of just connecting to your roots, leaning on your ancestry, kind of going back to move forward?
Absolutely. So, Brittany, just so you know, not too long ago, I actually did an ancestry DNA kit, where I had to, you know, they take you to a swab, you send it in, and they tell you kind of where your roots are from. And so for me, 45% is from Nigeria. So, you know, watching this, I was just like, wow, like, that's so interesting. And of course, I want to go back to Africa one day. I want to go to the motherland and actually witness the culture, you know, like really, really witness the culture. And I know we get to see it on TV, and Beyonce did a great job of bringing this culture into this film, and I thought it was amazing. But, you know, really to see Burna Boy and Techno and Mr. Easy and all these people who are big-time Nigerian artists, right? So for me, I'm sitting there like, well, shoot, I'm 45% Nigerian. That's my people, you know? So for me, I was like, yeah, this is really making me feel very, very, you know, rooted in this culture and the fact that I need to go back one day.
I was going to say, I think that a lot of people think that just because you're Black, you know all this history and all the rich culture. And I think Kayla mentioned it in one of her videos earlier. Like, we were stripped of this culture, stripped of this history, taught a different history. I remember I was telling somebody in elementary school, all I knew was Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Even though I went to a HBCU, shout out to Hampton University, I love my college. I was a business major and I played sports, so my focus was all the business, classes, and I really didn't dig deep into all the history. We took University 101 the first year, and then after that, I would say I really didn't take full advantage of a lot of the different, things that they offered, on campus. I believe if I was a different major, I would have dug a little bit deeper. But a lot of this stuff we didn't grow up having around us. And even our parents, I think they, also, I think also we forget that just a couple of years ago, different things like Emmett Till, our parents, our grandparents, they went through that. It wasn't that long ago, but they still, they were just trying to make it through. And so all those educational pieces that Beyonce is like bringing back and reminding us as far as like our history and how great we are and find your way back. It's just another reminder that how Black people as people, we just persevere and we always persist. We always find our way back. We always, make a way. So
always. I know for me personally, I lost both my grandparents in the last 5 weeks of last year. And so I started digging, and there was all this oral history that I had from my grandmother that I started just connecting to things, and I felt this deeper understanding of myself. So I always want to remind Black people too, we do have an oral history that was passed down. And even though we don't learn a lot of stuff in schools, we got to really pay attention to what our grandparents told us and to follow that path too, because we all do come from different places and have different histories. It's not an homogenous ancestry like you mentioned. So that oral history, I just want to remind people, I was really lucky that we had interviewed my grandmother, before we had some of that stuff. So if you have that moment to do that with your grandparents, do it, because you're going to find out stuff that you had maybe ignored previously. I think it's so powerful. Has anybody had any experience like that with your grandparents? Yeah.
Yeah, my mom actually had done a lot of research on her own before the whole Ancestry and some of those other kits became really popular. And she started piecing things together. And then just recently, my uncle actually shared with us this booklet full of family history. And I'm like, where has this been all my life? Why have you never shared this before? But it was really interesting. My dad's side of the family, his mom is from Georgia. And there's so much history about their town and the part of the family that were slaves and where they come from and how they attained some of the land that we still have in our family. So it was just really, really interesting. But I would love to know beyond that, where am I from? Where are my ancestors from in Africa? Just like everyone said, I would love to go back and find out where I truly come from and actually step foot on that land. I think that would be amazing. And then I think that one thing Beyonce did a great job at for so many years, and even today, as we know, dark skin has been looked at as a negative and just in such a horrible way all around the world in different countries. And Beyonce is here to prove them wrong. Black is beautiful. And she showcased that in this film all throughout it.
And on the topic of history, I just want to remind people that we recently had a conversation with Verizon's new Next 20 series, and they talked to Dr. Khalil Gibran Muhammad. He's a professor of history, race, and public policy, and he talked about how understanding Black history in schools can help us all move forward together. So if you want to have a deeper conversation, engage even deeper on that issue, make sure you check that out. Everything we're kind of talking about is under that umbrella of Afrofuturism. And that's the idea of looking at the past and the future through a Black lens. Kayla, why do you think that's extra important right now?
Yeah, I think, a lot of things are coming to mind right now because I was on Twitter and, Beyonce haters are out there. It's unfortunate. She's just raising kings and queens. But no, I think I'm thinking of like how Black Twitter reacted and how it's kind of like, well, not everybody was a Black queen or king or African king or queen. Like some of us were in the fields, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like some of us, when we were stolen, right? Our ancestors were stolen from the continent. We weren't all Black, kings and queens. And I think it's interesting because when Mara was talking about her family history, I know, and I've done research to know like that my family, at least as far as we can go, were molasses farmers. And I remember learning that maybe like 3 years ago and thinking like, that's dope. Like I thought that was really cool. I didn't think like, oh, well, I'm not going to tell anybody that we were molasses farmers, because just knowing, just having that identity literally gives you so much power. Cause then it's like, wow, like what did we do to make it to now? You know what I mean? Like I'm the product of a molasses farmer. You know what I mean? Like that pride is amazing. And so I think when we look back, and this is a West African term or concept, is called Sankofa. And the symbol of Sankofa is a bird that is flying forward and looking backwards. And so you think about that concept and you think about like, you can't know where you're going without, you can't fly forward without knowing where you came from. And so that was a very powerful piece of the film, to just know like, he didn't know where he was going to go if he didn't know where he came from. You know what I mean? He went back to find that crown. He went in the ocean. He found that crown. Like the crown was not lost because he knew where to find it. You know what I mean? So I just thought, wherever you come from or whatever your history is or whatever, those things are, it doesn't mean that, you should be ashamed of those things or, feel any kind of way. It's like, where can you find the beauty in that? Like, let's sit down and find the beauty in our history, just like Adrienne was saying, so that you can be proud of the resilience and the perseverance that your people have had, no matter where you come from. And so I think without knowing our past, there is no future. Like there is no power for us in the future, for us to know what that looks like and to learn from those mistakes that, our ancestors may have made, right? I mean, we've made a lot of mistakes here in America too, just as Americans. And so it's really important to know and learn from those mistakes so we can make the future brighter and better for our children and the generations to come. So many concepts going through my mind right now, but that's definitely one of the things I take away.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's perfect. You mentioned some of the criticisms. Stacey, have you seen some of the criticisms, and do you have any answer? I mean, she can't answer everything, Beyonce. She's just sort of giving us some things to think about, right?
She doesn't answer everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But to Kayla's point, I think she touched on something really, really important here, right? As we talk about history and how important history is. It's, I could think back to when I was in high school or, even junior high school, and I would be so intrigued by global history, but we learned about the kings and queens from England and things like that, right? Never about the kings and queens from Africa, right? And we are the descendants of kings and queens. So I think it's important to really talk about that, right? And to make sure that our kids are learning about that and our future generations are learning about that. And what I can say is about our Gen Zs now, these guys are interested in history. They want to learn more. You can see what's happening right now with the Black Lives Matter movement and just everything else that's going on. And I just thought that this film was perfect timing. Perfect timing, because there's a lot going on and there's a lot of research that we all want to do on our own. This isn't anything that's being like handed down in school right now, but we're all exploring using YouTube, using Google, all these other things. And, even when I think back to elementary school, we used to have Culture Day once a year. And I remember one year, I must have been in like the 4th grade or something. I have no idea. One year, my grandmother gave me a bag of cotton to take in for Culture Day. And I was sitting here looking like, Grandma, I can't take this cotton into school, but I did. And we had some good dialogue around it. The fact that, you know, my family, they were cotton farmers, you know, like they used to pick cotton. And so it was just thinking about that, right? And thinking about that history and what that'll do for our future generations, and to know that here I am, right? As a Black woman working for a Fortune 20 company, and my ancestors used to pick cotton, right? And they were slaves and things like that.
That part.
So those are the things that those are the things we have to think about. And just, there's so much power in that. And we are a resilient people, and we make lemonade out of lemons every single day. No pun intended to that sixth solo album of Lemonade.
Can we stay on this? Because I just want to be totally transparent. I remember also having Culture Day, or also was like Country Day, where we learned all about the countries, and everyone had their own country that you had to research. And I remember, because I went to a predominantly white school, I remember having that feeling like, I hope I don't get an African country. And it wasn't, it wasn't that it was like shameful, but I remember there wasn't a lot of information on the African countries. I wanted one of the popular countries because I knew there was so much information I could find. And, I knew all the stuff that I could do to really make my little station, because we had stations that you could set up to, really make it, really nice. And I just think about the kids of today with having Beyonce doing this visual album. I mean, they are going to be like, oh, give me an African country. African country, because I can do this, and just having a sense of pride. And that's just another reason why I just love her, because that's the type of impact that she is having on the future each and every day.
Yeah, we are in this period of enlightenment. When we look back in history, we see all these different civilizations, and they had awakenings and enlightenments. And I think after George Floyd and all the protests and the conversations that we're finally having, it kind of feels like that period. Mara, do you relate to that? It kind of feels like a time where we can have our pride and talk about it and claim and reclaim things.
Yeah, I feel like, especially us ladies here on the call, we've been bold leaders, legacy brave leaders for many years now. And we've been doing the work. We've been doing our best to educate people. We've celebrated Juneteenth for years. This is not a new thing for us. We've had really successful events where we're educating our peers about Juneteenth and just other very culturally relevant moments. So we've been doing it for a long time, but I feel like now more than ever, we have more attention on some of these things. And I hate that it has to be at the expense of lives and just these horrible instances and murders that are taking place. But I'm really happy that people are now starting to see, like, hey, this is important, and maybe we should spend a little more time on this topic, or maybe I should bring this conversation back to my family so that I can then educate some of my other relatives, some of my friends on right and wrong and what's going on in the country and beyond, because I love, too, that not only are we influencing what's happening in the United States, but people even outside of the United States are seeing what's happening with the Black Lives Matter movement and are taking a stand as well and are making a huge impact in their own spaces. So I think it's super, super important that we remember to not let this die down, learning about our history, knowing about our culture, talking about these what used to be uncomfortable conversations, like continuing to have those is super critical. And I feel like even months from now, we should still be having these conversations because they're important. And to Kayla's point and to the other lady's point, like, we have been stripped of this history for so many years. There's so much to talk about. There's so much to learn. I even found myself, I think Adrienne said it earlier, people assume just because you're Black, you know all of this history. And we don't, unfortunately. So I've even found myself researching a lot more lately, looking on YouTube at different documentaries and just like little snippets here and there about how we were brought to the United States. Oh, but wait, no, they stopped the ships in these Caribbean countries first. So it's just been really, really interesting. And I think it's very important now more than ever that we keep the momentum going and keep educating.
Absolutely. And Beyonce has always been somebody who empowered Black women. Black is King really empowers Black men as well. And she dedicated it to her son. Stacey, what are your feelings about her messaging to Black men, in addition to Black women, but she really is speaking to Black men in a way that she maybe hasn't previously?
Yeah, and I think what was important about the message around Black men and Black is King is that you are a king. That's a very bold statement, right? Black is King is a very, very bold statement. And she wanted to remind all the men, especially during these times, you are kings. Each of you are kings, right? And so bask in that and just make sure that each and every day that you step out, you know that you're royal. You're from royalty. You know, your heritage is rich. And so I think it's important for them to be reminded of that, and Black women too. You know, the beauty of Black women. I think that's an important one. We're beautiful, well, not only physically, but, you know, from a fashionable sense and just all across the board. I think it was important for Black men and women to know that we are royalty, that Black is king, and that, look, we're here to make changes, and these changes are here to stay. So it kind of is what it is. You get in line or you don't. But either way, Black is king, and that was a very bold statement, and it just goes to show that, you know, we reign supreme. So
yeah, and I think that too, it's like Black is king, but then Black women were so integral and partners, and it was like we need the Black women to support the Black men and vice versa. I thought that messaging was super important too. It's like we can't have one without the other. We have to be lifting each other up equally.
Absolutely.
And I like how the song already, it talks about that very moment, that very statement that Stacey was just talking about. We were already kings and queens before we even realized it. I think Beyonce said something like, we were beautiful before they knew what beauty was. And it's true. We've been kings and queens. We just hadn't been taught that. And we just didn't have that direct connection or that exposure to that information. So we've already been kings and queens. So I love that she's telling that story.
Absolutely. So we have a couple more minutes here, and I want to go to each of you, and I just want you to tell me what you maybe discovered within yourself after watching this, or questions you ask yourself, or just a place that you feel like you are growing because of the theme or visual or lyric that really reached you. So Adrienne, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start off. So amazing. When I think about the beginning of 2020, I definitely didn't imagine myself here and what we're dealing with. Okay. But I would say at beginning of 2020, I said that my goal was to be more intentional. And it makes me think because people on Twitter have been talking about the album, and people basically told, you know, they just reminded everyone, like, look, Beyonce started shooting this stuff like a year ago. This didn't happen 2 weeks ago. That lady has been thinking about this, has been, you know, and we all know she does everything she does with class, and it's very well thought out. And just to think that she was working on this whole year, and where we are now, and how needed and how necessary, and how it just adds on to the knowledge and everything. So it just reiterates to me as far as just being intentional about everything that I do, you know, having a plan. And then if I do fall down, make my way back, like she said. I think that's probably between Bigger and Find Your Way Back. Those are some of the songs that really resonate, because the reality is we all are going to have, you know, times where we make mistakes, we have those failures, but we all can find our way back, pick ourselves back up. And that's something that I think she always reminds us, you know, there's still work to do. And that's another thing too. We still got a lot more work to do. It doesn't end here.
Absolutely. How about you, Stacey?
Yeah, so for me, I think I mentioned this earlier. My Power is really one of my favorite songs, and the visual was just so amazing as well. And so, you know, it just reminded me, you know, just thinking about earlier this year and just everything since I made my transition, because I did relocate from one part of the country to another part. And as I thought about everything, you know, sometimes in transition, you can kind of, you know, lose your voice and different things like that. And so that song right there, look, no one can ever take my power, you know, find your voice kind of thing. Make sure you remember that you are a queen. And so, that song right there is literally story of my life. And, it just gives me so much like motivation and empowerment to just keep moving forward in every part of my life, work, personal, everything. And so, I was very inspired by every single song, but My Power already, those two are my songs. And those are kind of like the things I'll play every single time, probably before interviews and everything. I'll throw on My Power before an interview, before, any type of presentation, anything to kind of get me going. So, absolutely loved it. I just want everyone to remember Black is King. Ladies and gents, you are kings and queens. Always remember that. And you have a huge tribe across this nation, across this world to back you up and let you know and remind you that you are a king and queen. So, yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah. I have to jump in on my thoughts was also with My Power. It reminded me how important it is for me to tell my story. So I write as well. I've been writing a book and I write sitcoms and all these things. And I think it's so important for people to know how diverse Black people are and our experiences are so different. And it is up to each of us to tell our story and to share that. And so when I watched this and then that song specifically, I was like, why am I afraid to tell my story? I need to. We all need to. That's our power. So that's my little 2 cents. It inspired me to be a creator of my own and to go out there and put my art into the world, which I hope a lot of people feel that inspiration. Mara, I'll throw it over to you.
So yes, My Power. I think we're all just feeling My Power. It just gives you so much confidence. And I think I was talking to Kayla about this earlier. When I think about Beyonce, I think about, she motivates me so much. I think, I have the same 24 hours in the day that Beyonce does. So I can do better. I can do more. No one can strip me of my power. I'm an amazing person. She kind of instills that confidence in you through her work, which is really amazing and inspiring. But I also think about Move Forever. That was everything for me. Not only the song, but the visuals around it. I'm very much a cheetah girl. You see, I have my little cheetah print pillows here. I love animal print. So that visual really brought it all together for me. She was so regal in those moments. And I think Jay-Z even said something that I say often. He said something about the price is up. And when I think about that, that makes me think of my value and my worth. And no one can take my power. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can bring to this world and what I'm contributing to society. And it's of value. It's very important. So I, again, just like Stacey said, would encourage everyone to make sure that they watch the film, make sure that they watch it again, because after watching it a second time, I actually picked out some other nuggets. And I think this is really inspiring overall and just a great way to not only highlight and encourage Black people, but people in general. It's an amazing film. And I think just her portraying our heritage and that history is just so powerful.
Yeah. And I think people underestimate how powerful it is to take a lyric or a song as an affirmation and put it up on your wall and just look at it. You can find inspiration everywhere. So I like that nugget of just rewatching it and trying to learn from it. And Kayla, we'll end things with you.
Lord, lots of pressure, no. So I'm thinking of 2 things, just really taking in everything everyone's been saying. So good, just so good. I think of the journey, because personally, I feel like I'm on a journey right now where I'm like, this is not what I expected my life to look like. I mean, I'm sure everyone says that about 2020, but in general, life milestones, right, that I may have not met yet, or that just look different than I thought they would. And so I'm in that season where I'm like, okay, it's not going to look like I thought it would, but that doesn't mean it's bad either. This is a journey, and just live this journey and be in the flow of life is really important. And so really taking that and trying to learn the lessons from each and every season is what I'm thinking about. And that's what really I got from the film as well. But this other thing is the legacy part that I'm super excited about, because as Stacey and Adrienne were pointing out, culture day and those kinds of things. Like it's so powerful for us to know where we come from and to have some sort of identity. And our kids need that, especially right now. We're all in the house together. No, I don't have kids, but like I know families that are just like driving themselves crazy, right? And it's just so like, what would it look like to have projects around like identity and, the continent of Africa and maybe where we might have come from and just all this history and education. I grew up in a family. My mom, single parent, she was an Africana Studies minor or major, I can't remember, at San Diego State, where I actually went as well, and minored in Africana Studies. And so when she was raising me and my brother, like we couldn't watch anything that didn't have anyone that looked like us. So I didn't grow up watching Friends or any of that stuff. Like my mom was kind of, you would say the word back then militant, but that's, obviously a stereotype. She really just wanted us to know who we were and to like find ourselves in the things that we were taking in, right? So we had to write books and, do different things. And that sparked me going to Africa. I lived in Sudan for a year, like all of those things I wasn't afraid to do because of the way she raised me up. And so what would it look like for us to instill that into our kids and to teach them that, no, it's not the commercials on TV that like have the kids with flies around their mouths. This is an amazing legacy that you come from, and this is your bloodline. No, we may not know exactly where, but this is where you come from, and this is beautiful, and this is amazing, and look what these people did to overcome. You have that in you. You have that in you. Like, how powerful is that? So it's kind of like blowing my mind on the legacy that we can all leave with our kids from this imagery and just continue that, right? And to fight to make sure that it's better each and every day, whether that's joining the Black Lives Matter movement or whether that's going and volunteering and making sure people have what they need in places where COVID has hit whether it's voting, whether it's taking the census, right? Making sure there is no voter suppression, register to be a poll voter, so that you can go, or worker, so you can go and help people vote. Like, what does it look like to really leave your mark, right? I think about one of the other Beyonce songs, I Was Here. Like, what does your mark on the world look like? And that's when I watch any project from Beyonce, I'm like, oh shoot, okay, wait, what am I doing with my life? You look around like, wait a second.
She can inspire you and stress you out in the same song. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, dang girl, can you sit down somewhere? I know you got a whole team, but I'm just saying, no. I think this was absolutely needed. We couldn't get to the concert and see her live, so we needed this as the longest standing member of the BeyHive. So yeah, I just think it's important. It's important to think about that legacy, and definitely the journey for me is what I took from it, for sure.
I have to ask, you couldn't watch Friends, but did your mom let you watch Living Single at least?
Of course. Girl, anything
that's all that matters.
In it. She was
that was anything. The real one anyway. That was the real one.
I wanted to watch The Full House so bad. The Full House. I was like, please. She was like, where? I don't see not one black person. Nah, I'm sorry. Dawson's Creek, couldn't watch that. It was crazy. I came to school, the kids were like, you didn't watch last night? I was like, yeah, no, I was busy, Did you see Martin?
Well, guys, this was a lot of fun. Like I said, I needed to unpack what I had witnessed last night. So I'm glad that you guys could all get on this call with me and we could have this conversation. And hopefully, like you said, we can keep it going. I think that's what's so important, is that we continue to reach out with our community, have these conversations, build each other up. I love each of you, wishing you health and wealth and happiness. And if you guys haven't watched Black is King, it's streaming now on Disney Plus. Check it out. Let us know what you think. Talk to you guys later.
And
bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.